Unity North. Make a little bit of noise for the incredible music. We appreciate you guys so very much. Shower the people you love with love. How many people love the people that are in this room right now? Then let this be a service where we shower each other with gratitude and love and peace and joy and all that's good and holy and sacred. Yes? Let's take a moment to enter into the day and into each other's heart space with a deep breath. And as you exhale, let's close your outer eyes. And let's open our inner eyes and meet at the level of the sanctuary of our very essence and being. And so we enter this beautiful day with gratitude in our minds, knowing it is a beautiful day on the outside as well as in consciousness on the inside. We say thank you, God, for the beautiful people that are in this room and for the uniting and the love that we feel in our connection to all humanity. We allow ourselves to be fully present to the oneness that exists from one side of this beautiful earth home to the other. We allow ourselves to live in the energy of the connection that exists here in this room and in our consciousness. As we move into our service, let every word point us in the direction of that God essence, that light, that love, that peace, and that harmony. Let every feeling and every silence and every song lead us into the direction of the magnificent presence of God that lives and breathes and has its being as us, as the human race. Thank you, God, for the bridge building that happens today. Thank you, God, for the love that is shared today, for we know you as the source. And for these things and 1,000 more, we say thank you, God, together, thank you, God. And so it is, and so we let it be with a resounding amen. All right, so we've got some really new songs today, and this is one, but it's the whole foundation of the message we're going to share today. It's called 5,000 Ancestors, and so there may be empty seats next to you, but they are filled with grandfathers and grandmothers and energies and spirits, yes? So I'm going to invite you to channel them all as you're up on your feet. Let's kick this in. It's got kind of an earthy tribal feel to it. I'm going to invite you to join Jeannie and me in celebrating the connection of all life. 5,000 ancestors standing beside me. 5,000 ancestors living inside me. 5,000 ancestors standing beside me. 5,000 ancestors living inside me. Their strength, their courage, their wisdom and power. Their strength, their courage, their wisdom. All right, now that was a nice practice. You got the melody, sort of, kind of. Make a joyful noise. 5,000 ancestors standing beside me. 5,000 ancestors living inside me. 5,000 ancestors standing beside me. 5,000 ancestors living inside me. Their strength, their courage, their wisdom and power. Their strength, their courage, their wisdom. And I'm going to invite you to turn to your left or your right with a handshake, a hug. Let somebody know you are grateful they are here. Go ahead and reach across the aisle to that person you don't know. Meet that new friend. We're grateful to be meeting new friends online. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're grateful for this connection that we have. And I hope you feel 5,000 ancestors between us, keeping us connected and in love. We're going to join with the people that are online. We're going to sing this from the gut, from the root chakra, from the place that knows we are connected with all creation and with each other. Together we sing, 5,000 ancestors standing beside me. 5,000 ancestors living inside me. 5,000 ancestors standing beside me. 5,000 ancestors living inside me. Their strength, their courage, their wisdom and power. Their strength, their courage, their wisdom and power. Make a little noise, Unity North. Feel those 5,000 ancestors alive in this room.
What a great way to start a Sunday morning. Yes, absolutely. Celebrating our strength, our courage, our wisdom, our power, that of our ancestors, and that of any visitors that might be in the house. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to shower the people that are here for the first time with some love. Our welcome team is coming forward with welcome packets. And in those welcome packets are Let's Connect cards, because obviously we want to get connected with you on this beautiful day. So you can scan it with the scan the QR code. You can fill that out with pen and paper. The pen is in the seat pocket in front of you. But right now we're going to shower you with a little bit of love. If it is your first time here at Unity North, can you raise your hand nice and high in the air? Love it, love it. Thank you for joining us. Let's keep our hands in the air until we get a welcome packet in our hands. Thank you so much for being here today. If it's your first time online, welcome to Unity North. We hope you're feeling that strength and that courage as well, all the way through the airways. On the screen behind me, you see a welcome table. And we welcome you to that welcome table. It is downstairs in Holy Grounds. So after service, we hope that you will join us down there, and our welcome team will meet you with a smile and let you know some more about this awesome community. You may be looking around the room at these beautiful four souls around us. They are also welcoming you. They are sharing love with you. They are holding you in sacred space and light. They are none other than our prayer chaplains on duty this morning. So a special thanks to Jagrati, to Justice, to Michael, and to Marie for holding us all in that love and light, whether we're in the room, whether we're online. Thank you so much. And Michael is sitting by the prayer box in the back of the room. So if you didn't know where that was, now you know that is in that far corner of the room. You are always welcome to put a prayer in the prayer box and know that you are seen in loving wholeness and light.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to... This is Danielle. Happy birthday, dear Danielle. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, my friends.
Thought you could hide it, huh?
I did try. I tried really, really hard. So, Julie, come take the microphone.
We've been friends a long time. She hides it every single year. So whoever outed her, thank you, because she deserves so much of our, yes. She does such an amazing job up here. So good morning, Unity North. How are we? Yay, woohoo! So I'm just up here for a couple reasons. First of all, it is Food Sunday again. Our YOUers, our teens, are making lunch for you today. Burgers and fries again, and picnic stuff because it's just so yummy. And we're training them that eventually they are gonna be doing the whole thing themselves. And they're getting there. So the teens themselves decided that all proceeds today are going to Unity of Blue Ridge, for hurricane relief. So that was a decision they made. Yes. So please stay, have lunch. You can give as much as you want towards lunch today. We asked for a little bit of a minimum, but just please know that every dollar is going to Unity of Blue Ridge, who is supporting individual families and nonprofits. So we love our teens. Okay, who was here last night? Woohoo! Boy, you guys, so you got up early. So we had our trunk or treat last night, and is there a drummer up here? No, that's okay. You guys can do your own drum roll. So we had 835 people. This is a very scientific algorithm that we tried, but we did all the counting of things, and that's the number that we're comfortable with. So, thank you, thank you. If you did a trunk, please stand up. Woo. If you helped in parking, please stand up. If you no, stay standing. Stay standing. If you volunteered at all, please stand up. If you're on staff, board, everybody who was here, Give them a round of applause. Thank you for making this the East Cobb destination for Halloween. And I want to do a special thanks to the Men of Unity and Ray, who did parking. They found spaces that don't exist, and for doing all the food and sponsoring the train, our wholeness ministry, sponsoring the obstacle course, a donor that sponsored the second bouncy house. It is a community effort and takes a village, and our village rocks. So thank you so much for doing such a wonderful event.
Thank you, Julie. Can we give a hand to Reverend Julie Bonneger?
And if you had fun watching all the kids in their costumes, that's the kind of fun we have downstairs. So consider volunteering once a month. It is so much fun. Today, one of our kids was turning me into animals as I was working. So I had to work as a frog, work as a cat, work as a dog. So it is so much fun. Contact me if you're interested in coming to play with us. All right, have a good Sunday.
Absolutely. What a great transition into our next announcement, which is Coffee and Connections. So if you are new or newish and you want to know more about Unity North, more about our amazing youth ministry and events and how you can get involved, Coffee and Connections is for you. So it's right after service. When you go out these doors, you're going to turn left and go into the office. You'll meet the amazing Reverend Richard, and you'll be able to ask all of the questions that your heart desires. So please, after service, new or newish, it doesn't have to be your first time today. So our next announcement gives you a chance to see all of the amazing things or some of the amazing things that are happening at Unity North. So this was a great opportunity to get your phones out and take a picture, or just be reminded of the many things. So all of these things are in the app. All of these things are on the website. So let this kind of jog your memory as you see what is happening this week, different ways that you can get involved, different ministries that are happening. So in all of the different things that are happening, we want to make sure that we send love and appreciation, just as Reverend Julie did, to the people that do so much work in this community. So our next announcement is really an appreciation for you, for the work that has been done with Family Promise. There is a Family Promise volunteer appreciation that is happening on November 10th at 3 p.m. So if you have donated time or items or anything related to Family Promise, if you have given your time or your energy or anything that helps to support that amazing ministry, this volunteer appreciation is for you. So hopefully you've gotten an email that gives you an RSVP link so that you can attend. But wait, there's more, because we're going to make it even easier for you. We have Linda out in the lobby that will be signing people up. So if you're like, email, schmeemail, you can sign up in the lobby because we want you to be there, all right? So it is on November 10th, but Linda will be in the lobby after service, so you can RSVP at that time. In our next announcement, we have the monks that are coming, and this is always an amazing time. They do mandala sand painting. There's a lecture on mindfulness and meditation. They'll be a part of service, and we need your help to make all of this work. So again, we would appreciate if you would check the app and the website to find different ways that you can volunteer. Reverend Averill is heading this all up, and you can reach out directly to her. You can look on the app, but we do need your help to make this happen. So always an amazing time. Check the app for more information. In our last announcement of the morning, it is time for board nominations. So if you have been thinking about, we recognize our board a lot, and if you've been thinking, I think that could be me, I could be a part of the community in this way, this could be a way that I could serve. We're looking for 2 new board of directors members. The application deadline is December 31st, so that gives you plenty of time to check it out, to ask questions, maybe come to Coffee and Connections and ask some questions about how that could be in your future. But if you have also been here for a while and you're a member, there are lots of people that could answer your questions about being on the board of directors. So you can scan that QR code, you can go on the app, you can go on the website for more information. But right now, we are getting ready for Tempe Red Hawk and Jeannie Bailey. They are going to grace us with an absolutely beautiful song called Still Here. So please put your hands together for Jeannie and Tempe.
I know you're scared, I know you're scared, but you won't be scared alone. You're not as far, you're not as far as you think you are from home. Every line that we've drawn, every bond that we've broken, after all that we've lost, we're still here. Here we are. We're still here. Here we are. One in a million, still shining, dancing in a sea of stars. We're still here. Here we are. Here we are. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? The river knows your name. Always running, always running, 'cause nothing stays the same. No matter the season, the drum keeps on beating. Oh, I know you can feel it. We're still here. Here we are. We're still here. Here we are. One in a million, still shining, dancing in a sea of stars. We're still here. Here we are. Here we are. 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 When you can't hold it together, I hope you remember. We're still here. Here we are. We're still here. Here we are. One in a million, still shining, dancing in a sea of stars. We're still here. Here we are. Here we
Tempe Red Hawk, Jeannie Bailey, Tom Olson. Wow. You know, Tempe and I, when we prepare for the service, we go through different songs. And lately, she's just picked 2 songs and said, "That's it. There's no doubt. There's no worry. That's it, and that's it, and that's it, and you're it." And the gifts that you have given us today, thank you, thank you. And what's wonderful about that is when it is that's it, then it writes the talk for you. I want to take that as a springboard. How many people have walked this earthly journey and been brought to your knees to the dark night of your soul where you didn't know if you could go the next day? Look at that. That's what connects us. We've all gotten to those places, the dark night of the soul where we didn't know that we could go on. It's part of the earthly journey. How many of you have ever gotten to the place of total and complete elation where life was more full and joyous and beautiful than you've ever experienced it before? Look around. That connects us too. We're having an earthly experience. And part of the oneness that we talk about is that we are sharing an earthly journey. We're taking the same steps, the ups, the downs, and everything in between. We are sharing that. And yet, we're still here. We're still here persevering. We're still here putting one foot in front of the other. And we're figuring out a way to get through those nights where we're frightened down to the core. The marrow of our bones is shaking. I don't know if I can do it. And those moments where you gather the strength and the courage and the wisdom to know that I'm going to get through the next day and run this race, this human race, at the highest level of being. It's all a part of us, and we're still here. We like to say in Unity, we're here to live it all. In fact, I'm going to invite you to repeat that. I'm here to live it all. I want you to think about the dark night soul, the dark night of the soul that you went through maybe yesterday or last week or last month, and say the same thing again. Bring it right here into your heart and say, I'm here to live it all. We're here to grow. We're here to stretch. We're here to become. We're here to evolve. And then bring that celebration. Bring that elation that's beyond anything you've ever experienced. Hand on your heart and say, I'm here to live it all. And through all of this earthly journey, there is an energy, there is a power, there is a force that's guiding you, that's uplifting you, that's protecting you and comforting you. Religious people would call that God. We like to be spiritual people, so if you want to call it God, that's okay. It can have 1,000 names, but it is moving and stirring and taking you through all of it on this roller coaster ride that is the human journey. But many times that spirit of God, as love, as light, is doing business as the grandparents, the grandfathers, and the grandmothers from centuries back. They're speaking. They're still here. Take a breath with me. Let it go. They're still here. They're still in that breath, and they're doing business as your life. Layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of ancestors whose energy lives not only around us, not only within us, but as us. And so again, hand on your heart, the ancestors live as me. Together. The ancestors live as me. Do you feel that? I don't care if you call it God or Joe or the ancestors, but it's living at the point of you, the ancients. The ancient people whose strengths, whose power, whose wisdom, whose courage, whose goodness is living in the very cells of our body and our souls. They vibrate as the beat of our heart, the rhythm of our heart, and they're in the very breath that we just took. And it matters less that that breath you just took is panting. Anybody recognize that breath? Or it's a deep breath of inner knowing. Take that breath with me. They're still here. It doesn't matter what the experience is on the outside. It matters only that there is an awareness that they're still here. Our lives, every life in this room and those of you online, you are the legacy. It's the legacy of those who have come before you. Our ancestors are no less an integral part of the community, of the family, of the life that you are living today than those with skin on sitting in the room, those that are still on the earth, or those that are part of your friendship circle or your spiritual circle. The ancestors are just as much a part of that community by right of our remembering, by right of our consciousness. Each of us is the fulfillment. You are the fulfillment of the hopes, the dreams, the visions, and the aspirations of so many people. In fact, let's read that statement together. There are ancients whose strength, courage, and wisdom live in the very cells of our bodies. They vibrate as the beat of our hearts, and the air that we breathe. You are the fulfillment of many generations. Where you sit today in your life, it's not an accident. Your experience of life is not an accident. Therefore, I want to begin, before I go any farther, with calling out the names of those grandparents. I want you to actually call the names, the ones that you maybe liked and the ones that maybe you had trouble with, because they are all a part of the fabric of you. We're going to call their names into the circle right now because they're filling the seats that are empty. So I invoke today the names of Carl and Marie Buck into this space, into this space. I call forth the names of Inez and Donald Burdick, who live in this space and this space. On the count of 3, I want you to call the grandparents into the room. 1, 2, 3. Nice warm up. You have wisdom and strength and power in that name. The name itself, the speaking of the name, brings the energy into the space. On the count of 3, speak it as if you are connected to something so magnificent that you are ready to live life at a fuller place. 1, 2, 3. Those names you just said, they're still here. They're still here. They never left. And guess what? As you call their names out, they are whispering your name. They are whispering your name and moving you in the direction of your highest and best earthly experience. Last week, I spoke about a chain that which is, you could call God, you could call light, you could call love, you could call it life, that unites all of us. We are connected together as a chain. There's only one of us in the room. There's only one of us on the planet. But I wanted you to recognize today that this isn't just contained to the earthly experience right now. This chain, of which we are an integral link, connects us to the ancestors. And on the other side, it connects us to the grandchildren that have yet to come. And when we drop the chain, we are the missing link that needs to pick the chain back up. We are united with people who have lived, you never even met, but they live in you. Yes? It reaches back into our future, so there's no time and space in God. There is no time or space in God. Science has shown it. Spirituality is showing it. So what we begin to realize is that as we are holding a vibration as a link within this chain, affecting everybody on the planet, it's also coming back to us, and we are affecting our past. We are affecting our future. The vibration that we are holding is not only going out in that direction, we are reaping the benefits of it coming back to us. The love, the wisdom, the peace, the joy of the ancestors is coming back. And so when you play your role and you hold that link, you are benefiting as well as being a servant. As you serve humanity, as you serve your lineage, you are also being served. So just a quick question. How many people do you think, if you go back 10 generations, how many people do you think it took to get you? Just call it out. 800. Somebody said 1,000. It took a minimum of 1,024 people 10 generations back so that you could become you. The breath you just took is nothing short of a miracle. And the energy of 1,024 plus people coming into expression so that you could be you. Do not treat your life as if it is an accident. The hopes and the dreams, the breath you just took right now is a miracle. In fact, say that with me. The breath I just took is a miracle. My existence is a miracle. My existence. Well, one of you really believes that. One of you is really convicted. Thank you, Tara. My existence is a miracle of 1,024 people together. My existence is a miracle of 1,024 people. You know, somebody said first service, but what about the difficult people in my ancestry? What about those people I just didn't like? They are also a part of the vibration that is you. And now, when you recognize this truth, you can have a relationship with them as they are on the other end of a chain in ethereal worlds, in spiritual worlds, where all the earthly crap that they brought is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. So if you cannot connect with that ancestor, guess who's got the problem? Not them. I prepare for a lot of memorial services, and I have to say all the time to the people who are still on earth grieving, when they're talking about the good qualities and the not so good qualities, or maybe we should do it right so that they are honored, they are so free of any earthly concern. When they get to those spiritual vibrations and dimensions, they are completely and totally free of any earthly care. And they've dropped all the stuff that was in the way. So if there's still stuff between you and them, guess who has to do the dropping? Guess who has to do the movement in consciousness, the movement in heart? It is us. So I want to explore this idea. You know, many know that my first ordination was as an interfaith minister. I'm all about building bridges of understanding between the world's faiths. Jesus is my main two guy, but I'm also a pagan at heart. And I want to explore a little bit of interfaith work today to prove the point. I'm not the only one saying what I'm going to share today. We celebrate the many paths to God, many paths to the one, many paths to the chain, many paths to creation. Earth-based tradition, I'll start there because it's really my go-to. In earth-based traditions, ancestors are revered. They are revered as guides and as protectors. Their presence is not just a memory, but it's a living, breathing reality. Hand on your heart again. The ancestors are a living, breathing reality. Indigenous cultures emphasize the idea that the wisdom of the ancestors is available to us through what? Call it out. Through the earth. Through those we call the tall people out the windows. The tall people. They are available to us through the trees, through the earth and all the elements. So you're having a relationship. You have the ability to have a relationship with those who have come before you when you are having a relationship with the sun and the moon and the stars and the flora and the fauna and the animals and the tall people and the trees and the earth itself. This is how they speak to us. They speak to us through these things, and they're all whispering. They're all whispering, I'm still here. Together, we're still here. We're still here. So how do we cultivate that relationship with the ancestors? How do you do it as an earth-based? We got a lot of earth-based people here. How do you do it? What's that? Sweat lodge. I'm saying just go put your feet in the ocean. Put your feet into the river and listen. Close your mouth, put your ears on, and listen to the flow of the river, the ocean. Go out and hug the tall people. Go out and put your feet, take off the shoes, any block between you and the mama, and put your feet into the earth and listen. The ancestors are speaking. Yes? Go take a mindful meditational walk somewhere in nature. You know, I have found the presence of God, the presence of this chain, the presence of peace and harmony and strength and wisdom, and the connection with my grandparents, who I love dearly, more outside than I have in any sanctuary. Somebody said one point, we should put stained glass on all these windows, and I said, never. Look out there is the sanctuary of God and the ability to talk to Carl Buck and to Donald Burdick and to the woman who taught me to play piano. She lives in the leaves of those trees, Inez Burdick. And Marie Buck, who taught me the value of a good, hard day's work, and she lives in that tree right out there. We'll never put stained glass. Religion has sometimes shut down the ability to find our ancestors by giving us, no, it has to come through this portal. Here's the book, follow this. I'm saying the book is sometimes in the way, but sometimes it is the way. We'll talk about that in a minute. In Buddhism, in the Buddhist tradition, there's a thing called dependent origination. Say that with me. Dependent origination. It speaks to the profound interconnection of all life. Nothing exists in isolation, past, present, or future. But don't take my word for it. Thich Nhat Hanh, the great Buddhist monk, my go-to when it comes to Buddhism, this is what he had to say. Let's read it together. We are our ancestors. We are our grandchildren. And they're whispering, we're still here. There are many people sitting in this congregation today that have recently said goodbye to their beloved. I want you as a congregation to hold those people in your heart and to say with me, they're still here. They're still here. So again, I ask, how do we cultivate a relationship if they're still here? With this Buddhist perspective, how do we cultivate a relationship? Here's how I do it, and it's going to, and Joel Blackford's sitting right there. He's the one that introduced me, Joel and Marianne, to this practice that absolutely has informed my every morning and my every evening. I get in the car every morning, and I call in the Council of Elders. I call in the band of angels of all these people, and I speak their names. And on those days where it's hard and I'm on my knees and I don't know how to do it, I call them in more passionately. And I say, let's co-create together today. You know, my job requires a lot of me. And if it was me alone doing it, I would have had to quit long ago. But I call in the Council of Elders. Call them angels, call them grandparents. I don't care what you call them, they exist. Now, 5,000 ancestors can be a little bit crowded in a Jeep Wrangler. Or it can be a fullness of being, of living and knowing that I am filled up to overflowing. And then I send, this is what Joel taught me, send them forth. I don't know how to do this meeting. I don't know how to do this challenge that's before me. And I choose them by name. These are the ones I'm sending today. Go before me and make the way clear. And I say, today we're going to create some love. Today, grandma and grandpa, uncle and aunt, brother and sister and friend, let's create more love on the planet. This is a regular spiritual practice that I invite you into. To know that you're not walking the earth alone. That those energies, those names, those spirits, those incredible souls are still here, and they are still here. Let your car be crowded with love. Let your car be crowded with wisdom, and let the meetings be crowded with energies that nobody else can see but you. But you can feel them coming from the trees and the earth. You can feel them coming from the consciousness. I often call them that committee of elders. But 5,000 ancestors are how I live my life at the fullness of what God has asked me to do. Let's go to Hinduism. Anybody follow a Hindu path? You know the word samsara? Samsara? People have interpreted it. It means the cycle of life and death and rebirth. They say, oh, that's reincarnation, but samsara is way more than reincarnation. The soul moves through different lifetimes, learning, growing, evolving, and becoming. But it's not just about reincarnation. It also reminds us that our actions, our karma, is impacting future generations. The decisions that we make, the karma is affecting our life and what will happen tomorrow and next year, but it's affecting the grandchildren. Therefore, if we follow the lineage, the choices of our grandparents are affecting us today. In the Bible, they talk all about the sins of the father. I want to talk about the blessings of the grandfathers, the blessings of the grandmothers, because their choices, their empowered choices to overcome, live in me. And so that vibration is coming to me. But if it's reincarnation, I thought about this today, and it made me laugh a little bit. If I was on the planet generations ago, I am reaping not only the karma just with the soul, but what I did on the earth is affecting what I'm experiencing on earth today. And I reflected on this, and I thought about that ridiculous song that used to be on Dr. Demento. I'm my own grandpa. I'm my own grandpa. Is it possible that the united energy that is only in the essence of God, as God alone as light, that the decisions I made in my past life are affecting me today? The answer is an emphatic yes. Samsara is happening by the karma of my grandparents. And so what do I do about that? I have an ancestry wall in my house. 2 of them. One for the in-laws and one for the names I've mentioned here today. And I regularly take time to sit at that altar. You know, we're all about altars in Unity. We have our sacred places to go find God. The 2 altars that mean the most to me as I sit on the wall of the grandparents. And I live into the energy of the choices that they made. I live into the energy of the choices they made that are affecting my life today, the good and the not so good. And I receive that energy. I look into their eyes. I look into the stories of their lives. And I take the energy and I claim it as mine and then cleanse what I need to cleanse, but accept and hold on to that which I need to hold on to. That ancestral altar is a way to find God. God by whatever name you want to give it. I visit it often and I sit silently in their presence. I invite you to December 4th when we have our service of remembrance. That'll be a way that you can connect with the ancestors, to come here and to speak their names aloud. I live in the inheritance of what I got from the father, the mother, from generations back. You know, it took me years to realize that the stories that my grandfather, who was my hero, remains my hero, weren't necessarily all true. I had this great realization, and it makes me laugh because my grandpa Buck lives in me in such a way when I tend to be a little serious, and those who work with me know I can be a little over serious and get a little anxious. I go live at the altar of my grandpa, who convinced me for most of my life that I was related to Jesse James and Sitting Bull. And then the realization when life is getting heavy and I sit there and I look at my grandpa's eyes and I go, the only Sitting Bull in our lineage is you. But the reality is it's holy and it's sacred, and he lives in me and he helps me get through my seriousness. He helps me get through when I'm taking life so seriously that I'm just tied up in knots. He's still here. He's still here. He's still laughing. He's still telling tall tales. And he's still smiling. Let's go to Jewish tradition. Anybody speak Hebrew here? Good, my pronunciation won't offend anybody. Let me know if I'm close. There's a concept in Judaism. Let's go ahead and put the next slide up there. Lador Vidor. Say that with me. Lador Vidor, which simply means from generation to generation to generation to generation. It is the passing of wisdom and culture from one generation to the next. The stories, the teachings, the books, and the experience of the ancestors are not just historical accounts in the Jewish tradition. They are living energies meant to guide our lives today. Go spend some time at a Passover Seder or just a Hanukkah meal and hear the story passed down from generation to generation to generation. It's through written and oral tradition these stories are passed from one person to the next. And when we let these stories live in us, our ancestors live in us. So my next practice, and it's one that'll drive your grandkids nuts. Don't give them up. Call them into the living room and say, let me tell you about your grandfather. Let me tell you about your great-grandmother. One of the best moments of my life was when my grandson Connor came to me. I think he was doing it for a school project, but he says, tell me about your life. Nowadays, I think this is a tradition that has been lost. We stop telling the story because we get this look. Be okay with and tell the story. Because if you do not, you're dropping the chain. And the ancestors are knocking at the door, trying to send to your grandkids something of great value that may be boring as hell to them. But when they come back and they're 25 and 30, they're going to say, thank you for sharing the story. It is a spiritual exercise to keep the oral tradition alive. Yes? Regularly tell the story of your grandparents. Tell your story. You know, and then doing so, we connect with God, which is a Muslim idea that fits into this. Al-Warith, which is one of the names of God. W-A-R-I-T-H, Al-Warith, which basically means the inheritance is all God. So when I tell the stories, I'm connecting with God that was the great-great-grandmothers. And when I connect with my grandchildren, I'm telling the story of God, which is the chain, and something beautiful happens. We remember we belong to each other. And then when we know that I belong to this lineage, I also belong to the lineage of the human race. And God happens because God is the inheritor of all of it. It all belongs to God. Say that with me. It all belongs to God. We don't want to leave the Christians out. Christianity is also my bedrock, as it is being a pagan and being true to the earth. We read in the book of Hebrews, St. Paul and I wrestle. We love to wrestle. We love to go back and forth, and he did, his humanist and his divine. This is what they say in Hebrews 12:1. Let's read it together. We stand surrounded by all those who have gone before, an enormous cloud of witnesses. Christians have a relationship with the ancestors that comes through dreams. Sometimes it sounds like a drug trip when you're reading that book. They're dreams. And the ancestors would also say it's all dream time. This is all made up. But look at the Bible. Read it with new eyes. They're talking about dream time all the way through. And they wake up from their dream and there's an epiphany, but based on what they got in the dream time. It's another way to experience our ancestors is to listen to the dreams that come to you at night. The veil is extremely thin when the conscious mind is turned off. The veil is very thin and those energies are there. I'm saying keep a dream journal. Record it. There are messages there that are important. Spiritual downloads that are happening in dreams. And if you don't do that, you're again breaking the chain and you're not getting the value. The veil is much thinner when the conscious mind is at rest. You know, Hollywood has the same idea. One of my favorite movies of all time, and it's that ending that I don't know if anybody guessed ahead of time, the movie The Sixth Sense. And what do they say at the end, the big kicker at the end? I see dead people. And we don't know who's dead or who's alive because it's all a unified one experience. I'm saying go to sleep and invite the dead people. Or maybe not the dead people, but the arisen people. Invite those who have ascended. Invite your beloved wife who is absolutely speaking. I told Bill, Sue is speaking. I told anybody in this room who's lost a loved one, keep listening because they are speaking. And when you go to sleep at night and you want to wrap your arms around them, wrap your mind and your heart and your spirit around it and record the messages because the ancestors, 5,000 of them, are still speaking. Yes? And they're all saying, we're still here. Hand on your heart. Let's say it. They're still here. They're still here. Now, as I like to do, I'm going to set religion aside. Let's put all the religious stuff off to one side and let's go to science. And I love how science and spirituality are becoming partners. I love how science is proving the concepts that we've been talking about in unity for years and years and years. Let's go to, by the way, don't you love that picture? I see dead people. I see alive people. I see spirits, and they're all dancing around me. And when I'm closed down, I can't experience them, feel them, or know them. Dance. Dance with the ancestors. But let's go to science. In modern science, we learned that the atoms in our bodies, the very atoms in our bodies, have been cycling through Earth's ecosystem for billions and billions of years. Breathe that in. You just breathed in the energy of Mother Teresa. It feels good, doesn't it? Breathe in. You just breathed in the energy of Gandhi. That feels good. Now take a deep breath. You just breathed in the energy of Adolf Hitler. What are you going to do with that? Transmute it. Somewhere there was a forgotten stuff there. It's the same idea. There's only one of us, and we're exchanging energies. The atoms in our body have been cycling for billions of years. The very molecules of oxygen that we breathe have been part of countless other organisms. Human, plant, and animal for millennia. I hope you will come next Sunday to the annual animal blessing and experience the ancestors as you sit at the feet of a dog or a cat or a parrot or a llama. Anybody bring in a llama? I've always been surprised. I've blessed chickens and rabbits and snakes. And somebody brought a horse one year. We're exchanging life from centuries back, and the idea that our cells and our bodies are one with the cells of the ancestors and the body of the ancestors is not just a pretty theory. It is a scientific reality. That gives me hope. That gives me strength. I'm not doing this alone. The atoms that make up our bones, I'm going to invite the band to come back up. The atoms that make up our bones, our blood, and our cells have existed since the dawn of time, cycling and recycling, cycling and recycling. There's a reincarnation of energy that's happening every time you take a breath. And those cells contain the energetic whisper, we're still here. Physicist Lawrence Krauss writes this. Let's put that up there and read it together. Every atom in your body came from a star that exploded. And the atoms in your left hand probably came from a different star than your right hand. Take your hands and put them together. There is no separation from one star and another, from one ancestor and another. They come together and they make up you. Your breath is a miracle. Your life is a miracle. And it is the collection of far more than 1,024 people. It is the very essence of God, thirsting, hungry for life that is you. Our job is to hold that chain and to never forget it. Go to the wall and look into their eyes and laugh. Go hang out with the tall people out and take a walk and put your feet into the river. And remember, drive down the road and be the crazy nut that's talking to the ancestors behind the wheel. And then look and smile and laugh and say, I'm related to Sitting Bull. I'm related to Jesse James. But you must recognize that you're not walking this earthly journey alone. And so back to my original point, life's gonna be tough at times. Walking the earth is not for the faint of heart. It's not going to be easy. But there are whispers of 5,000 ancestors standing beside you, living inside you, living as you. Their strength, their courage, their wisdom, and their power. Let's let them sing with us and dance with us. As we hold our hand on our heart one more time. They're still here. They're still here. Let's put the lyrics up to the chant. I'm going to change mics, Michael. This is a song written by one of the ancestors of Unity North, Debbie Schroet. I'm calling her in here right now. I love my sister. I am home. When we say I am home, it's the people that are sitting next to you, but it's the empty seats next to you. It's the seats in your heart that they will not be forgotten. And that maybe with the troubles that we have as a human race right now, we can call in the energy of those who have been and those who are yet to come. And maybe we can heal what's going on in our country, what's going on in our human race. As we support each other, lean into each other, love each other as 5,000 ancestors meeting 5,000 ancestors. Take a deep breath and let us join in voice and heart as we sing. I am home, my family is here. I feel loved by the ones I hold so dear. And when my family needs me, I promise to be there. And when I need my family, I am lifted up in prayer. One more time as we go into the silence. I am home, my family is here. I feel loved by the ones I hold so dear. And when my family needs me, I promise to be there. And when I need my family, I am lifted up in prayer. Let's take that song as we close our outer eyes and open the inner eyes and become very present to the now moment. when I need my family, they're still there. They're still here. They are present. Feel them in this now moment. And when they need me, I show up as a servant of love, sending it back through time and forward into the future. And in the hand that I just touched, the life that I just impacted with my love. I invite you to take a deep breath and to feel the thousands upon thousands of people that made you. And as the conduit for those still yet to come, breathe it out. A story lives in you. 1,000 stories live in you. An infinite number of stories live at the point of you and make up you. Tell them. And no matter the relationship that you have with those who have gone before you, all they know is love. They are free. And so as you bring their face to mind, be the one who returns love for love. With all the baggage of the earthly existence released. And let there be healing. Let there be guidance. Let there be strength. Let there be peace. Let there be power. Flashing across the screen of your mind, one generation back. Let the words thank you live in you. Let the words I love you live in you now. And now go back 2 generations. And let the words thank you live in you. And let the words I love you live in you. And feeling that chain of interconnectedness, unbroken life. Move back 3, 4, 5 generations. And with an open heart and mind, let the words thank you and I love you breathe you right now. And then from 10 generations past, 5,000 plus ancestors. Feel them holding you now. Feel them guiding you now. Feel them saying, thank you. Feel them saying, I love you. Right here and right now. Let's be in that space of gratitude and love as we enter the silence. 5,000 ancestors standing beside you. 5,000 ancestors living inside you. 5,000 ancestors living as you. And send that to the 5,000 grandchildren yet to come. And let the enormity of these words be sent forth. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you. I love you. And with one collective voice, let us speak the words that serve as the chain that unites it all. I love you together. I love you. Send it out the windows to the tall people, to the earth, together. I love you. Picture the gallery of those whose choices you inherited, and speak again. I love you. Feel the energy of those people you see and know and feel dancing around you. Your council of elders. And again we say, I love you. Bring a story to mind that needs to be told, that needs to be shared. And again we speak the words, I love you. They're still here. They're still here.
Thank you, Reverend Richard, for the many beautiful reminders in the talk and in this Sunday as a whole, that powerful thought of nothing exists in isolation, which reminds us that we are one. As our ushers are coming forward to help us move into offering, we remember another nugget that Reverend Richard shared, that our gifts are showing up, that we are showing up as servants of love, but it is also true that our gifts are showing up as gifts of love, not just for the present, but for the future and for future generations. And so, of course, we thank you for the gifts, but our descendants thank you for our gifts in advance. And we see again any prayers that are in the prayer box, in wholeness, in love, and in light, knowing that the love and the light that we are sending forward is reaching our future generations as well. And we can give in so many different ways, whether it's physically in the basket, putting our consistent giver card in the basket, scanning the QR code or the app to give digitally. There's so many ways to give, and each way is appreciated. So together, we bless our offerings in advance, and we say, I am so blessed, I am so prosperous, and it is my great pleasure to share of my blessings and to share of my prosperity. And in the giving, the entire world is blessed. Thank you, God. Please join us as we sing our offering song together. I am so so definitely blessed and grateful to have Tempe and Jeannie one more time with this song, Who I Am. Open your hearts and receive your blessing.
Can we turn the lights on? I'm scared. Thanks, guys. To the big leagues, if I never win a Grammy, I'm gonna be just fine, 'cause I know exactly who I am. Rosemary's granddaughter, the spitting image of my father, and when the day is done, my mama's still my biggest fan. Sometimes I'm clueless and I'm clumsy, but I've got friends that love me, and they know just where I stand. It's all a part of me, and that's who I am. Yes. So when I make a big mistake, when I fall flat on my face, I know I'll be alright. Should my tender heart be broken, I will cry those teardrops knowing I will be just fine, 'cause nothing changes who I am. Spitting image of my father, and when the day is done, my mama's still my biggest fan. Sometimes I'm clueless and I'm clumsy, but I got friends that love me, and they know just where I stand. It's all a part of me, and that's who I am. I'm a saint and I'm a sinner. I'm a loser, I'm a winner. I am steady, unstable. I am older, I am able. I am Rosemary's granddaughter, the spitting image of my father. And when the day is done, my mama's still my biggest fan. Sometimes I'm clueless and I'm clumsy, but I got friends that love me, and they know just where I stand. It's all a part of me, and that's who I am. Rosemary's granddaughter, the spitting image of my father, and when the day is done, my mama's still my biggest fan. Sometimes I'm clueless and I'm clumsy, but I got friends that love me, and they know just where I stand. It's all a part of me, and that's who I am. That's who I am.
Tempe Red Hawk, Unity North Band, Jeannie Bailey. Beautiful, beautiful. You know, the song reminded me, how many of you have ever taken Ancestry.com? Yeah, I got my results from Ancestry.com, and I realized I'm 50% winner, 50% loser. I'm 50% sinner, and I'm 50% saint. And I learned that I'm 50%, that's 50% of the population that's smarter than me and 50% that's not as smart. But somehow we're all figuring it out. Yes? We are co-creators on this journey. I'm going to invite you to get a little rhythmic again for this closing song. We are co-creators. Up on your feet. To those of you joining us online, thanks so much for joining us. Put your hands together. Bring the ancestors in. Bring the grandchildren in. Bring the above average and the below average, the saints and the sinners, and let's create the world we want to see. We're co-creators building a new world. 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 With our hands healing all the earth. With our minds healing all the earth. With our hearts healing all the earth. All of life, no sacred rebirth. Sing it out, unity from the top. We're co-creators building a new world. We're co-creators building a new world. We're co-creators building a new world. We're co-creators building. Thanks so much for being here today. Go be a co-creator with the ancestors and the grandchildren and those around you and make the world the kind, loving, beautiful place we know it can be. Have a great, fantastic week. We'll see you next Sunday.